Okay, all rise, we'll call the meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sylvia, you want to take the roll call, please?
Councilmember Van Buren.
Here.
Councilmember Burkhart. Here. Councilmember Lamanda.
Here.
Councilmember Freidel.
Here.
Supervisor Liefeld.
Here. And the minutes last night, what's your pleasure?
Will we accept the minutes?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I have an email, if you don't mind, that I wanted to read.
Okay.
It was regarding the minutes. If I can interrupt here, if you don't mind. It was for January 17th. I received this from Glenda McGee, and it says, "Hi Sylvia. I am in Ecuador, so I can't do this formally at this time, but I was told that the minutes quoting me are incorrect. At the meeting with the CCCD regional planner, I said to Helen Chase, this can be verified with a video posted by Cindy. You could have blood on your hands, not have. It was not addressed to Mr. Selkowitz. My mother was town clerk of Huntington and deputy town clerk for many years. I vaguely remember a protocol was to be followed, but I am out of the country. I was thinking statistically, as is my educational training. Remember Sasha Ivanov when his truck rolled over his lung. He is alive only because he was in the one spot in his yard that had reception. Anyway, I will be in the rainforest and can't follow up until I return. Please tell me how to address this if this note in the video don't suffice. In closing, I wish you would encourage your town employee friends to look into the implications of the byway plan that refers to their interest in mergings and dissolutions. The implications for you and the entire array of town employees is dire. The NGOs like the CWC and the CCCD are promoting the replacement of local government with regional government. There is big money in sweeping away local home rule. John Nolan, the advising attorney for the byway plan, has shown great interest in dissolving local governance. From my impression of his readings, I think you guys are being tricked. Thank you. I'm barely able to use this weird Ecuadorian keyboard. Glenda. So I will enter that into the record.
Thank you.
And what is an NGO? I noticed Charlie had used that in his...
Non-governmental agency. Like
Organization.
Organization, I'm sorry.
You know, I noticed you mentioned the words the CWC. Sometime when we got time, I think you might, it might help everybody for a little history lesson on where the CWC and why we have it and why we formed it. But anyway, at some point in the future, I'd love to give that.
I'd love to hear it. I think it's morphed into something.
But anyway,
else.
I don't want to disrupt the meeting. But
thank you.
So you just want to put that in as part of the minutes?
Yes,
or you want to change the minutes?
No, I'm not changing the minutes, but I'd enter that into the record.
Just want to make sure. I'm going to change the correspondence here to the agenda a little bit. We have a representative from Snyder & Snyder who represents T-Mobile and would like to put an antenna on the High Point Mountain Tower in West Shokan. The only procedure and what AT&T did is they come before the board, they asked us for our permission, we either give it to them or we don't. So the floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, my name is Doug Morton. I'm here on behalf of T-Mobile this evening. I think the application speaks for itself. We're seeking to place antennas on an existing tower, below the top of the tower. There's 4 other carriers on the tower. And as I said, I think the application speaks for itself, except for, I would just like to say I think it's a good application in that it, by locating on an existing tower, it avoids the need to build a new one within the town's confines.
So you'll be the 5th carrier?
I believe that's
what the
right.
law is, right? 5
Yes,
carriers?
yes.
I don't see a problem with it.
You're either 4 or 5, you know?
I think we're the 5th. It looks like
I think so.
4-foot compounds.
Okay, that's really all that's necessary, so I'll make a motion that we accept the application and grant the approval.
Second.
Yes, sir.
What?
I have a question.
Yes,
that I'd like to direct to the gentleman
Yes.
here. I have to have a Virgin Mobile plan where I get service in Kingston, but I get no service anywhere out here. And I'm wondering why cell towers can't be open to all carriers. Why is it just limited to the company that puts its receiver there when there are other companies that compete? You know, it's like my cable bill is getting really ridiculous, Time Warner Cable. I'm wondering if I can switch to Verizon. I mean, does Time Warner have a monopoly in all of them?
I don't know.
So my question is,
Facility. Actually, any carrier can go on that tower, up to 5 carriers, that's what our cell tower law calls for. So, the only reason apparently, and I say apparently, that Virgin Mobile isn't on it, is because they haven't made an application to go on it. And now, I think it would be, we'd have to think about it, because now we're at our maximum carriers on the tower. So, but it doesn't have anything to do with only 1 carrier is allowed on it, 5 carriers are allowed on it. T-Mobile would be the 5th carrier, I believe.
it just seems like restraint of trade that they,
No, I think the biggest problem is that cell towers do not carry that far. I'm not sure of this. It's either a radius of 25 miles or a radius of 12 miles that they can go out and then they hit another tower. That's why you see so many when you go up the thruway. They jump from one to the other. And that was said in here when we talked about that when the tower time. I really think that's the deal.
I understand that. I'm just-
But if Virgin Mobile had come before, or is it Virgin Mobile, whatever it is, Virgin, whatever, had come before T-Mobile, they'd be on the tower. So it's your company, it's not these gentlemen or the tower owner. It's the company you're dealing with.
Okay, so we're in the, yes,
Does this mean now that it's full,
Yeah.
that there might be a possibility of a second tower for those of us on the other side of the mountain that have no service from the one we have?
you would need another tower on the other side, whether it was full or not. That's why you're not getting any service at this point. That was looked into a year or so, 2 years ago, and you really need one coming in from Carhoxton somewhere into town of Marlboro or that part of our town. But yes, it's full. That would mean that there would have to be some engineering changes made on the tower, I assume. I don't. But 5 was what we allowed them to put on.
But the tower not being in Sampsonville didn't have anything to do with one being over here, because the law allowed for a tower, another tower, if it was in an area that wasn't covered by this tower. It's just that, in fact, I was just talking to a gentleman earlier, and there hasn't been any interest lately in these companies putting up towers. Why, I don't know, but this interest seems to have dwindled tremendously in the last couple of years.
Well, when we go back to the storm, I had to go to Helen's house to use my phone.
I sympathize with you, and
And if we
It's
have
it's
a
an
fire or
unfortunate thing,
something,
but
you know,
unless there's a company that'll build a tower, that wants to build a tower, and they can find a place that's economically feasible, that they can get enough carriers and get enough service on there, then it's probably not gonna happen. And like I said, for a while, there were companies coming to us all the time, wanting sites for towers. That, in the last couple of years, has been almost non-existent.
well, I really feel that, you know, that half of town of Olive is certainly being slanted against in terms of safety.
Okay, I'm in the middle of a count here. Want to start all over, please?
Second.
Can I have a count? Sylvia?
A roll vote, please. Is that what you need? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Councilmember Van Buren,
Yes.
Councilmember Burkhardt,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamonda,
Yes.
Councilmember Friedel,
Yes.
Supervisor Lightfoot.
Yes.
Okay.
You're on your way, young man. We will mail you whatever we have to mail you. Okay?
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a